All right. It's another Friday. It's a little earlier than our normal time, but we thought, you know what? We felt that this was such an important day and topic that we want to talk about today. We figured, why not start just a little bit earlier on this Friday, the 13th.
13th. And why we start early? Because we don't want to do it at dark, because you never know. Jason's coming out tonight. You know that, Amy. You just disappeared for a second. I was like, dude, he might have grabbed her right now, So I can say anything. Do not do any walking in the woods today. Do not do any trail walking, because you're going to see all kind of weird stuff go through your mind, which we're going to talk about today, right?
Exactly. But before we dive into that, Richard, you've had a pretty busy week. A lot of great guests that you've had throughout the week. Just some amazing folks that you've been talking to and some nuggets of knowledge that you've been gaining. Yeah.
It was an incredible week. I mean, we had Ashley and Brittany on. I mean, Ashley, we talked about marketing and social media, and the reviews on it was incredible. I mean, so many people's reaching out that they want part 2, which is going to be great, because I think a lot of people in our industry, we called people out. It was like, they don't use social media to the max. They only use LinkedIn, and that's it. And if you've seen it, we were like, if you ain't on like TikTok or Instagram, your candidates are on Facebook too. And that was the big push, was people don't use Facebook. They're like, it's just for families and grandmas. And I'm like, no, it isn't. You're missing out. So yeah, it was a great episode. If you guys get a chance, check out the replay. But yeah, definitely there'll be part 2 on that. And then Brittany, I mean, she came off the streets and just told us about how to be a staffing owner and just the facts about pay cards, this and that. So if you could take some nuggets from her, I mean, she just kept it real. And we just drilled down for like 50 minutes of what it takes. I mean, she's one of them owners that's proactive. She's out there selling, she's recruiting, she's with her whole team. So, I mean, that's a great episode where she's keeping it real, and she's telling Amy the facts of what goes on in industry. So it's not one of them owners that's like sitting back and like don't even know how to do the ATS machine. She's went through everything. She used to self-fund it, then she got funding and switched to ATSs. So it's a great episode too. So yeah, it was 2 great guests. It was an excellent week of learning. And now we're wrapping up with the one and only, the Mania, Staffing Mania.
That's right. That's right. You're just cherry on the top of your week, getting you ready and geared up for the weekend and to start the next week strong. That's what we're here. That's what we're all about. Sometimes we talk about things specifically related to staffing. Sometimes we talk about things just related to life and all of those places in between. I will tell you, my week has been interesting. My week started, but it's now much better. Number one, because I'm doing my favorite thing on Fridays, which is Staffing Mania with you.
You know it.
But it started off a little rough. Starting on Sunday night, my computer that I absolutely love, that I've had just for a few years, it started doing the blue screen of death. And then on Monday, it just kept crashing and crashing and crashing. So I finally had to just swallow the hard pill and recognize that I need a new laptop. It came yesterday, or actually Wednesday night. And dude, it is amazing. It is the coolest laptop ever. I absolutely love it. I'm still trying to get everything set up on it, but it was a shift that I was not planning to have to make this week.
Well, you got pinned for 1, 2, 3, and then now you got a new champion with the laptop. So I got to ask you, isn't that a pain in the ass to set up? I'm not going to tell you, because they go through everything. Password, you got to set up something like a Gmail or whatever if it's an what'd you get, by the way? I got to ask you.
I got the Asus ZenBook Duo. Ooh. Dude, it is so cool. I'm going to send you a picture. I don't have one that I can throw up on here, but it actually has 2 screens and a keyboard. So it just feeds my type A personality of one can never have too many screens at your disposal at any given time. So it's got touch screen. It's got a pen. I can write. I got 2 screens here that I'm looking at. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it.
I do. I like laptops with a wide angle screen, so it makes me look bigger. I'm just joking. Like when you go to the gym, that wide angle mirror, then you go home, you're like, damn, I thought it was bigger than I was.
I love it. But yeah, I mean, even though my background and everything that we do on the Painted Porch is all about change, when it comes to dealing with shifts of any kind, my shift was really a small shift, but it was still difficult to navigate. I mean, the there's the tactical components of what do I need to do, but then there's the emotional labor that you go through having to let go of what you know, what you love, what's familiar. It has all of my bookmarks, right? It has all of those things. And now having to move to this new computer and set everything back up from scratch. Granted, there were a couple things that I was able to transport over from my old computer just because of where tech is today. But even still, I barely have anything set up on it. I made sure I had Zoom, I had Gmail, and PowerPoint. That was pretty much it. But everything else, I'm still slowly getting it all set up.
And
but
that
man,
sucks when you do the like I did tabs. I do tabs all the time. At one time, I had 3,000 tabs open, and I can tell you which. No, seriously. And then it crashed on me, and it's like I had the same thing. Then you go to like, the PC doctor. I call down the road, like, can you repair this? And they look at me like, no. It's like,
they're like, just close your damn tabs, man.
yeah. Close your damn tabs, guys.
Yeah. I can completely relate. On my phone, I probably have about 150 tabs open. Right now, I don't have many, but it's only been a day and a half, and I probably have about 30 tabs. I always joke that on my tombstone, when I die, it's going to say, "Here lies Amy. She had many tabs open."
Well, let me tell you, one thing that I got to tell you real quick is you got to back stuff up. I got the terabyte I slap in, I do back everything up, but I have a pocket terabyte that every month goes to documents, everything. I mean, StreamYard, everything we have could be gone in no time. And I'm like, I don't know my password, some of the stuff, you write them all down. You try to. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you got through it, Amy. Look at you. I bet you on Monday you were not like this. Monday you had a frown on your face. Am I right?
No, Monday was not a good day. Monday and Tuesday were not good days for me. But now fast forward a couple more days and I'm feeling a lot better with it. But I think this ties into perfectly what we're here to talk about this week, which is all about what happens when, what I like to say, when the shift hits the fan. When you have everything in place, you think that things are running smoothly, whether it's technology or something bigger like your career. And all of a sudden you get what in essence is the blue screen of death that shows up at your door. And, in our industry, we've been seeing this a lot, probably for the last, I would say at least a year, if not more, where there's a lot of staffing agencies that are going through some restructuring, i.e. laying a lot of people off. There's software companies that are doing the same. And this week, it just really hit home for me because one of my dear companies that I've worked with in the past, the people I absolutely love, I was so saddened to see it, that CHG decided to close RN Network.
Ouch.
And that really hit home for me because I worked with those people, worked with those teams a couple years ago on a project, and they are smart and ambitious and capable and eager, and they really are invested in doing good and doing right for the staffing industry. And so it just broke my heart when I saw that. And it immediately made me think about what's going on in the broader sense within the staffing industry, but also just in our current economy, right? We're seeing this happen more and more, this thing of a white collar recession, where some of these people who are highly professional, highly educated, capable, skilled individuals are having a really hard time picking themselves up and finding that next opportunity. And so I thought, you know what, there's the tactical pieces that we can talk about today, but there's also the mindset piece. And I think that that's so key, especially when you have this rug pulled out from under you. So I'm so excited because someone who is my bestie, my partner in crime, but she's also one of the business partners on the Painted Porch. We're friends for a reason, because she is so wise and so kind and just so generous with what she can bring from a mindfulness perspective. I was so happy that she agreed to come on. We have our Chief Joy Officer and our mindfulness Sherpa from Painted Porch Strategies, Sierra Ramm Cantrell. So she agreed to come on and join us today and talk a little bit about what happens when shift hits the fan for us.
All right, you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Sierra time. Woo! You know what? I got to give you an intro like that, Sierra. You know that. We got to get you pumped up for the weekend.
That is awesome. Thanks, you guys. I'm so excited to be here. I am the mindfulness Sherpa, and I call myself that because I can give you a lot of ideas about how to be more mindful, but ultimately, I cannot do the work for you. I can help schlep some of the stuff, but ultimately, you have to make the climb to the top of Everest. So I'm here to help be a guide, and I understand that we are talking about like when the rug gets pulled out from under you, when something happens, and we usually aren't expecting it. Usually the worst thing, I always say there's no good day to be told you have cancer, because there's never a good time for bad shit to happen or your computer to crash. But I think being prepared with a few tools can help ease that transition.
Well said. I love that. It's all about being prepared. You know that, Amy and Sierra. It's the same thing. Oh, by the way, Sierra, look out the window. There's Jason right there behind you. I'm just messing with you.
Oh, no.
Hey, we got to do the Friday 13th jokes all the way through. But no, because seriously, I got to tell you guys real quick, that's part of it, being fearful all the time. I mean, everybody is scared they're going to lose their job and all this. I mean, we are all on defense mode now, and that shouldn't be the way. We should be on offense and be productive and be happy.
It's true. And I think like when you are hyper aware of that, it can rob your joy. It can steal your creative thunder. So the first thing I would say is, just be you and do you and show up every day. Or, if you online, turn on every day and do your job as if this is the last day on the planet. Right?
Yeah.
There's Painted Porch is rooted in Stoic principles. And one of those principles is memento mori, which means that everything that is alive will one day die. And we do not know when that's going to happen. So like live for today. So in that memento mori, like if I'm coming to work today, maybe in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this is the last day I'm ever going to do this job. Either I'm going to, this is never going to happen again. So you know what? I'm going to make right now kick ass. Can I say that on here? Can I say
no, you can say it right now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Do it now. I love it. Hell yeah. Can you cuss on this show? Come on. Say whatever you want.
Yeah. Just checking. So number one is just show up and do what you love and do it in a way that is authentically you. So there is nobody else. There's a quote that I love that says, just be yourself because everyone else is already taken. So show up, do you, and do it 100%, not knowing that, tomorrow is never promised for any of us. Memento mori.
Yeah.
I love that. So good. I mean, Amy, isn't that awesome? And you know what I got to tell you real quick before Amy jumps in here is like, seriously, people in the United States, other countries are not like this. When I go to Fiji and stuff, they live for the day. We live for tomorrow, retirement, all that stuff. That might never come. I mean, save some money for a rainy day, but at the end of the day, enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you want a new Jeep Wrangler today, go out there and get it, peeps. Buy me one too while you're at it too. I'll give you my address.
Yep. I think the key with it, memento mori, is such a powerful mindset to have, in that the moment something begins, it starts to wither, right? That's the whole idea, the impermanence of everything that we have in our lives and in our work. And so when it comes to how we approach our jobs here, I absolutely love it. Just bring your best self, bring your best version of you, with the possibility. And it's not meant to be a Debbie Downer, doom and gloom, things are going to go wrong way. It's, how am I going to be remembered in this moment, in this role, in this day? And am I proud of how I'm showing up? And while that job, which we'll probably talk about in a minute here, while that job and that guarantee of that job is definitely something that is not within your complete control, the one thing that you do have that you can control is how you are choosing to show up physically, emotionally, practically, tactically, and so on. So make the most of that opportunity. We're not trying to put lipstick on a pig. It is shitty when you absolutely get handed a pink slip or you lose your job. We're not saying everything happens for a reason, and well, when one door closes, another door opens.
No way. It's
not going to put those. It hurts, and it hurts hard. But if there's, at least you can walk away and say, you know what, I know that I did my best, even carrying a little bit of a chip or a bitterness around it, and their loss. but knowing that you showed up the best that you can is the first step in that. Yeah, absolutely.
100%. And I'm just going to chime in real quick. I think that companies don't do it the right way when they exit you. They just give you the middle finger and say you're out. There's no, and that's that mental health where us with jobs, we got to take, I mean, they just blast you. They don't even give you warning sometimes. They're like, you're out of here. Goodbye. Well, I worked 20 years with the company. There's no warning. There's no massage and like, hey, you're going to be downsized. You're just out. And I think that's something that down the road, I think really companies, I want to call them out. They need to like do that. Be proactive too. Just don't at the last minute say this is going to happen because you know when you're going to shut the doors. You know it's not going to happen that day. Come on, give people a warning. What do you guys think of that?
But there are tactical reasons why companies do that. Is that they may feel like if they let on that there could be layoffs soon, like we're just talking about, people could show up and be, not really show up fully. And I'm going to come back to what Amy just touched on, which is the dichotomy of control. If you are not a part of that decision-making process and that just happens without warning, the dichotomy of control basically says that the only thing you have control over is your own words and actions and your reactions. You do not have control of how the company chooses to handle shuttering up or if they lay you off. You cannot choose that. All you have control of is yourself. So for me, I try to circle back to what do I have control over? And for me, it's like, I'd rather just every day that I get to do the job, I just do it the best that I can and in a way that is joyful and embraces my true authentic self. And I think that you can certainly upset upset when this happens. It's a natural feeling when something ends for there to be grief. And that's important to recognize that, yeah, you worked there for however long you worked there. And yes, you loved it. And now this is over. So I do think it's important to be in that moment, to feel those big feelings. So when that initially happens, I like to prescribe a two-part exercise that we're actually going to do right now. First is called the Take 5 breath. So hold up your 5 fingers so that I know you got 5 to count on. Okay. And then I'm going to talk you through something right after that. So I want you to, as you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going to breathe in for 5. We're going to breathe out for 5, and we're going to do it 5 times. And this is just going to get us centered in our body. All right. So breathe out, let it all go. Big sigh. Good.
Whoa. How'd you do that?
Woo. All right.
And I go, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm very physical.
Whatever you're feeling.
I can't do this like this. I got to just go boom.
Boom. All right. Now
Love it.
Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 2. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 3. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 4. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can let your hand drop down.
Or can I go like this at the end? I'm just joking.
You could.
That finger won't go down. I'm sorry, guys. No, I'm just messing.
So this exercise, this Take 5 breath, is just going to help bring you into your body right now. Okay. So now that we're in our body, I want you to do a little exercise. You remember when you used to go to the mall and you would look at the directory and it would say, you are here with a little arrow? Okay. So you're going to imagine that there's a little arrow pointing at you that says you are here. So you're just going to take in your surroundings. You're going to look around. You're going to see where you're at. You're going to see where your body is in space. Is your butt sitting on a chair? Are you standing up? Like, where are you in this space? Okay. This is just in your own head. You don't have to answer out loud.
Okay. I'm glad.
Okay. You're going to take a
I'm going to
list.
pull it. I'm just joking.
You're going to take a little listen and take in if there's noises around you, or if there's no noise, just listen to your own breathing. And then you're going to breathe in through your nose. What do you smell? And then just going to move your tongue around in your mouth and see what kind of taste you have in your mouth.
I have mocha coconut coffee.
There we go.
I'm hoping a steak dinner later.
So we just checked in. That was just a check-in with all of our senses. Okay. So now that have an idea of where we are in space and what's going on with our senses, I want you to notice the feelings that you're feeling. Okay. So if there's big feels, like there would be if you just found out you were being laid off, or if there's good big feels, just notice the feelings that come up. And I want you to call that feeling out and give it, identify that feeling. I feel mad. I feel sad, right? Be like Sesame Street about it. Identify that feeling. Okay. And now you're just going to sit in the same way that you felt that taste in your mouth. Just let that feeling be completely felt. So just feel whatever that is, have all the feels of it. For example, if you had just found out that you lost your job, you're going to let all those big feelings happen. Instead of running away from them, let them all happen. Let yourself feel mad, sad, betrayed, whatever that is. Just let those feelings like wash over you, right? We're going to just be friends and just like imagine you're watching a show and you're just watching this whole show play out in front of you. And this being present with the feelings is really important for processing, because we're going to sit with this feeling, but this feeling isn't going to stay forever. We're going to let this feeling do its monologue. We're going to like let it happen. And then we're going to let the show end. We're going to applaud for the show, and we're going to close the curtain, and then we're going to move on to the next phase.
Yeah.
Love it.
I will say that the Take 5 is always such a powerful, but such a simple tool. I don't use it enough, because even when you just had us do it, I was feeling, I mean, anxiety is like my closest companion, but I always feel, Sarah knows this, we talk about it a lot, but it's like even that little tight in your chest, especially if you get some really upsetting news, we tend to not breathe as deep. We tend to come up here, we tighten up. Sometimes you even forget to breathe. And so taking that Take 5 breath is just like, okay, I'm just going to bring it back down. I'm going to settle, and I'm going to allow it to come over me, allow the feeling to happen. So that way I'm not keeping it up here. And it's just, it becomes your constant companion that never leaves, that never moves out of your house.
Yeah.
It is so true. And you know what, Sierra, I got to tell you, that was very, it was like yoga a little bit. It was kind of cool because as you know, me, I don't give two shits. Like I'm probably the opposite of everybody. Like if somebody tells me goodbye, then I'm like, dude, I'm just going to come and work out and have a better company than the other one. You know what I mean? So that's me. I never, that's weird. I don't know what's about me, but I don't get like upset. Somebody says goodbye. I'm like, see ya. It's like, so I don't know what them feelings are like, but that was nice. That exercise, I'll be honest with you, I was very calm while that was very nice to have that, because I say I'm calm, but I'm always pumped up all the time. But that was great.
Well, and the Take 5 breath is a fantastic tool to have in your toolbox for all the times, especially if you're having big feelings of any kind. It could even just be anxiety or just like prepping to give a speech. Is that Take 5 breath is easy. And you can do it quietly. You can do it like while sitting in a huge conference room, and nobody's going to know you're doing it. And you can just count in your head. You don't have to use your fingers. I
love it. And you can use this for anything. You break up with a boyfriend or girlfriend, you can use this, right? I mean, seriously, I love it.
Yeah. Or just a moment where it feels like a lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's going to get you in your body and noticing in your body, because if you do not deal with those feelings, if you do not deal with those big feelings, they are going to sit in your body, and they are going to make you sick, and they're going to make you miserable, and they're going to make it hard for you to move on. You have to let those feelings happen. And then, like I said, picture it like a show. let the show finish. Let the emotions come and go. If you want to cry about it, if you want to scream.
That's what I was going to say. If you cry, like, even boys cry too, now, cowboys, I joke about that. Seriously, I think when you cry for joy or sadness, you let it all out. And I think like afterwards you feel relieved, don't you? I mean, that's what I feel like.
Yes. And it's part of your body processing it. And again, when you lose a job or when a project ends, it is a grief. It is no different than a person you love dying. There is a process of grief that needs to happen in order for you to be able to move on and move forward. It is no different.
Yeah. And I think about that even from a change perspective, change, whether planned or unplanned. We're talking about some of the unplanned change that happens, and allowing this moment to recognize, to, kind of go in, and then have that grief, or at least that recognition of a door that's closing, right? And I think that that's true with change too. Really successful organizations that are going through some sort of change, or even an individual, take the time to celebrate, even if it was something that you didn't plan. Say, for example, getting laid off. Have a little party for yourself, like have a celebration, to like a retirement party for what was. So that way you can acknowledge the things that you did do, the work that you did perform, the achievements that you did make. You're celebrating it, but now it's time to move on to that next chapter. And with organizations with change, there's been some that I absolutely love. They will literally, like, let's say, for example, they're sunsetting an old system that they have and they're adopting a new one. They will have a retirement party for the old system. And it allows for that opportunity to recognize how it served them up until a certain time. But now it's time to, go out to pasture, enjoy its rest of its life somewhere else.
That's
and you're
right.
taking on something new for the future.
My family and I visited the Ben & Jerry's factory, the ice cream. And they have a graveyard on site that is all the flavors that they no longer make.
Cherry Garcia.
I'm serious. It's a real thing. So when they stopped making the flavor, they literally make a headstone. There's no ice cream buried underground, I don't think. But they make a headstone for the flavors that have been discontinued. And it's like a way to move on, right?
Yeah, but still honoring what was. I think that's the key. I think when it comes to jobs maybe that we've gotten let go from, or we were fired from, relationships that we've had in the past, ATSs that we've used before, we tend to want to just cut it and run. And that's where it becomes really hard to make that transition, because we're still clinging so tightly to what was, but we're also trying to just like erase it from memory, as opposed to honoring it and acknowledging. Like for Ben & Jerry's, Bovinity Divinity, that was my favorite about 20 years ago. And I think it is no more. And so I had to mourn. I had to mourn the loss of Bovinity Divinity. But there's new ones that have come. And I love that they have a graveyard for that specific purpose.
That is sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're going to process that. That's just a little bit. And for some people, this takes longer than others. I think you have to let those feelings play out, and then you have to know when to to celebrate, whether it's a party or whether it's and then like that chapter is closing. You're closing that piece up, because you ever hear that expression, when a door closes, a window opens, or another one opens?
Oh yeah, all the time. You
have to actually close that door and be like, okay, this chapter is complete, and I've completed it. I've done and dusted, and now I'm ready for the next thing. So you've got to complete that out, and then now comes the second step. So I actually loved what you guys were talking about. You, Richard, you said you have to back stuff up, right, with the files and.
Oh yeah.
So now you're going to go to your backup. And what I mean by this, I don't mean like a secondary career that's your fallback career. What I mean is, I think it's important to keep something that I call a snaps file. Like, I'm dating myself, but like snaps. Yeah.
My, we are. Snap it up.
So in your snaps file, it can be a I used to have a physical folder in a drawer that was my snaps file. But this is going to be your past accomplishments. Your snaps file contains your degrees, your certifications, but it also contains like a memory of times that you got through some hard stuff, that you were up against a wall and you pulled through and you figured it out. It's your successes and your triumphs, because the second part of this is, instead of, oh my gosh, that job was so fantastic, I'm never going to get another great job like that, I'm never going to get another opportunity like that, I'm not going to be able to shine again. No. That snaps file says, I have done hard stuff, I have succeeded before, and I can succeed again.
I think that's so key. Yeah, that's because I think both from it's like a resilience reference guide, right? All those times where you've gotten through some hard shit that has happened in your life, but also the things that you're just really proud of, the skills that you have, that you've achieved, that you've been recognized for. And I mean, I keep my snaps file a little even smaller. I'm like, I washed my hair today. Congrats. You know, so I pick very small. I set my bar really low because sometimes there's moments where you look at that and it almost seems like those accomplishments are too big for what you need right now. You're like, I can't even grasp that. So I like to set some of my snaps pretty low, but I think it's helpful for that. But also when you think about the job that you, or the next opportunity that you want to pursue, you know, we talk about that it's very popular, this idea of imposter syndrome, and I don't know how they're going to find me out, it's not possible. And having that file that you can look back to and say, actually, I did, I have, I can, I will. I think that's a great way to just shove that imposter syndrome and kick it out the door. Like, be like, I don't have time for you, because I've proven to myself that it's possible.
Yes, I love that. And you know what I think it is, guys? It's about being positive vibes all the time. Because when you get fired, it's negative. And you hit it right on, Sierra. I always say every year is a chapter. When I turn another year, I mean, I just turned 22. So, you know, I keep turning it times 2, by the way, plus more. But all joking aside, every chapter, I think too many people hold on to grudges and stuff like that. And then when you get fired, your family wants to know what happened. So over and over, you have to relive this disaster over and over again. And sometimes it's like, okay, I'm just moving on, guys. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. What's your take on that? I mean, like, sometimes it's over and over. All these coworkers want to call you and they're still at the company. And like, guess what's happening? Joe's getting fired tomorrow and you're already gone. You keep reliving this. When is there a time to just cut the ties and say, I don't want to talk about this company anymore?
Well, where your energy goes is where your energy is going to continue to go, right? I'm a firm believer in thinking about things in a very logical sense. And, you know, a body in motion tends to stay in motion. A body at rest tends to stay in rest. So if your mind keeps going back to a negative place, your mind's going to keep going back to a negative place. You know, even if you don't think that the universe is attracted to the energy, it's you. It's where you put your energy. So I would say avoid going backwards. The more you get stuck in that story, you know, you've let those big feelings play out. You've sat and made peace with them. But guess what? Now that the curtain has closed on that show, we're on to a new show now. We're on to the show of what's next for me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Don't go back to the reruns. Yeah.
No more reruns. No. The shit show's in the past. It's time to move on to the next show.
Yeah.
I mean, just be very focused with your, and I won't get all woo-woo and say, like, you know, set your intention, but ultimately the way that you speak and the way you speak to yourself it's that language is contagious. Mm-hmm. So keep repeating the story that pisses you off or that puts you in a negative place. You're going to stay in that negative place. Instead, frame for what you want. That chapter is closed. I'm on to the next. I've had success in the past and surprised myself before, and I'm going to do it again. Keep framing in where you want the energy to go.
I love how you said that. And I think it's a state of mind. I always say this, and Amy knows this, fulfillment. Every day is another day. When you go to bed at nighttime, you should have fulfillment that day. And don't talk about the negative stuff. Yeah, you know what? Your car, my car broke down 2 weeks ago. Am I upset? No, it's like you just get an Uber or whatever. So I think every bad can turn into a good if you have positive vibes. But a lot of people don't. I mean, you know how it is, Sierra and Amy. You look at the news and everything's negative now. I mean, you see the job report and everybody gets, oh my goodness, am I going to be another stat on a job report next year or next month? That's what I'm saying. I gotta ask you, Sarah. So how do you stay positive on all this stuff too? I mean, even if you're not getting downsized, but you hate your job and you want to leave it right now, probably shouldn't leave it because there might not be another job out there for you. How do you tell people out there to, stay in the right frame of mind right now?
Well, it goes back to that dichotomy of control. So there's so many things that I don't have control over. So I'm going to maximize the things that I do.
Yeah.
And the way I maximize the things that I have control over is by my language and my outlook and how I frame things, or how I choose to look at a challenge. Is I can choose to say it's impossible, I can't do this, or you know what? Let me take a stab at it. Those are things I have control over. And I would say, when in doubt, focus on what you do have control over. And one of the things you do have control over is be logistically prepared as well. So have your finances in order, have a financial backup plan in case you have to go without a paycheck, but also have that resume and that LinkedIn, have that updated and be ready to take on another position, even if it's temporary, until you can find your next dream job. There's nothing wrong with going back to, hey, you know what? I could get a job tomorrow waiting tables. And do I really want to wait tables forever? No, but I know I have the skill set to do it. I could take a job waiting tables, get some income, and meet new people that might be the key to my next amazing
I know. I'm going to tell you, Sierra, I might wait tables someday if they do the tax-free stuff and that's all straight tax-free tips. You're going to see where I'm at. I'm going to be waiting tables everywhere. But no, I get what you say there. It's like, I think sometimes people say, well, I'm going backwards because I'm taking a job as a Chick-fil-A or something like that. But you're not. It's just a temporary job. It's like a quick Band-Aid to get you through while you're looking for another job. And I think some people's, how do I say it? Their pride and, their degree, they're like, well, they feel like their self-worth went right down the hole at that point. And it's not true.
No. There is not a single one of us that has only one skill. Everybody has multiple things that they could do. And maybe it doesn't have to be waiting tables. Maybe there's some freelance work that you can do. Maybe there's some consulting work that you can do. Maybe you can help sub in for somebody while they're on their maternity leave or, out on a trip to Bali. Maybe there are things that you can do, but do not be afraid to ask, right? You're going to put feelers out there and say, you know what, I'm looking to diversify some of the things that I'm doing. Do you have any openings I could hop on your project? I know, Amy, you are involved with a lot of different organizations. You're involved with the Junior League. You are involved with all these different groups because honestly, it's your network. But also when you need help, don't be afraid to be like, hey guys, I'm looking for some extra work. What do you got?
Yeah. I think that's so key. I know we're almost at our time and we could probably talk about this for another hour plus, but I think that's key about your identity and who are you? What is you? And not putting yourself in such a small box, but allowing for expansion and curiosity. You talk a lot, Sierra, in your programs and what we do on the porch about that growth mindset. What's possible? What skills do I have? What's in my snaps folder that I really hadn't thought about in a while, but that might be kind of cool to try out or pursue in a different way than maybe how I've done it before. Let's, instead of trying to recreate what is, let's think about what's possible next. But there are times, truth be told, there's going to be times where you're going to feel very much in the Woesville dumps, especially if you are let go and your job search is taking much, much longer than you anticipated. That feeling of self-worth can very easily, I know I've even felt it, can very easily go down the drain really quickly. So any final thoughts on what you could do? I know in 2 minutes, but any final thoughts about that?
You as a human are a multifaceted person. You are not just your job. You are not just your role within your family. You wear many hats. And remembering that just because this is a new challenge doesn't mean you're not up for it. Look back in your snaps, all the times that a challenge came your way and you rose up to it, that you did something hard. That's just the proof that you can do this and you have more strength inside of you than you think. Talk to yourself in a way that you would encourage your best friend. If your best friend was having a hard time, what would you say to them to motivate them and to uplift them? Now do that for yourself. Talk to yourself. You got this. You are so talented and so phenomenal. You could pull off just about anything you set your mind to.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Keep saying it, Sierra. Let's go. Got 30 seconds. Come on.
And if you don't know how to do it, just say, I'm going to learn. I can learn. I can do this. I might not know how to do that yet, but I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, and I got this.
You got it. Anything you can do, I can do better. That's how you got to think it. I love that. Sierra, thank you so much. Amy, I mean, this is awesome. I got to tell you, at the end of the day, I always say, look, I'm just going to line it up like this. Just look in the mirror and say, I love myself every day. If you go in the mirror in the morning and say you love yourself, that's confidence, not cockiness. I'm going to tell you, your day is going to be so great and you're going to love everybody around you. Mm-hmm. And we're all here to support you, right?
Robbins. It's like the Mel Robbins high five habit. Just every morning, look in the mirror and give yourself a high five. You're like, you got this.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. Hi, Jason. I'm so glad you joined us.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sierra. Any final thoughts, Amy?
Sierra. I'm just so glad Sierra was able to join. I always walk away, even in our conversations personally, I walk away with just a little bit standing a little bit taller, feeling a little bit more confident when I talk to Sierra. And I'm just so blessed that you were able to share it with us today. Thank you. Let's give a shout out to Jason here, man. What's up, Jason, brother? I haven't talked to him in a while, man. Go Tennessee, man. All right. Sierra. Well, on that note, go ahead. Go ahead, Sierra. Thank you so much here. We're going to wrap it up in 1 second. Thank you, Sarah. Tell you what, Amy, wow, what a great guest and what a good partner you guys have here. That's incredible. I know you got to go here, but that was awesome. Pretty blessed. Yep. I know we're going to keep this conversation going. We have a lot more to add to it probably next week about some of the tactical things that you can do to think about when you're trying to find that next job, that next opportunity, that next level, that next chapter of you. So stay tuned and we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And Richard, thank you as always for creating this platform. It's always, and I want to end on this note, Rocky Top, Tennessee. I got to tell that to Jason there. My brother actually went to UT for his master's, so we got something in common there. But hey, thank you everybody. And remember, have a great weekend. It's Friday 13th. Watch out for Jason. We'll see you next week.